Daydreamers. Yeah.
What's up, y'all? This your girl Amber, aka The Ber. I'm here with the guys Don the Menace and Internet Spaces. Today we want to talk about Batman versus Superman and what we thought about it and what we think should be done differently for all the future DC franchise movies. So I guess we'll just get into it.
What was that? A snake? Is that a snake?
That was me.
Oh, I
Was
thought
that
it was a
like
rattlesnake.
waiting
and
to
then-
exhale? Like,
Yeah, I was holding my breath for a long time so that I could do like the most like
Sigh.
frustrated exhale
Yeah,
of all
that was
time.
all the
exasperated
pent-up
sigh shit.
frustration.
Yep, that's what it was.
All right, now that you're deflated, I want you guys to tell me your initial thoughts after seeing the movie. Like the first thing you thought about when you got up out your seat.
Space, you go.
Well, my first thought was, I can see why people didn't like it. As soon as that was my first thought was, okay, I get why people didn't like this. And I feel like I've spent so much time thinking about why people didn't like it that I need to go see it again so I can have fun again.
Do you feel like you went in with the expectations of what you read?
I didn't read any of the reviews.
Okay.
I kind of knew what they were. I kind of just, when I heard going in that people didn't like it, I knew what they were going to say. As soon as I heard people didn't really like it or people were mixed on it, I figured, okay, well, Zack Snyder kind of doubled down on Zack Snyder. You know what I mean? And I think some of what they showed in the trailer, being that the trailer kind of contained
Everything.
one or two of the only humorous parts of the film. I think that it made people think that the tone was going to be lighter, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? The movie had 4 or 5 light moments, and like I said, they were all in the trailer, except for maybe 1 or 2. So I think once people arrived at the theater and they realized that it was, that Zack Snyder doubled down, I wasn't surprised they didn't like it, pretty much.
What about you, Don?
I didn't know what to think. I felt offended as I got up out of my seat because I've been looking forward to this movie so long, Amber, and it's crazy that it came out this way, and that's just
Man,
that's
you
just
sound
how
so
I
hurt you
feel.
can't even speak. Like,
I really
pain
am
is
though.
blocking the
You
words,
know,
bro.
my personal life isn't in the best shape, and this was the one glimmer of light that I had looking forward for almost 2 years, more than 2 years, and then I knew 20 minutes in the movie, this was not the movie I wanted. I knew 20 minutes in, so but yeah,
Man, that's heavy. What's the main thing that disappointed you about the film?
it didn't live up to my expectations as far as the story, the pacing, the action scenes. It's missing about 4 action scenes. It has 2 action scenes, 2, and they're all at the end of the movie. Well, I guess 3 if you count the nightmare scene, but that's
Right.
towards the end of the movie.
So you were expecting more action.
Yeah, for the most part. For the most
Okay.
part. But like for me, I feel like for the next movies to be successful, they have to get the next 3 right. My bad. They have
Sound
to
like
get
Hotline Bling.
hell yeah. They had to get the next 3 right. So they gotta get right, Suicide Squad. That's the next one out the gate. They gotta get right Wonder Woman. Like you were saying earlier, Amber, the woman perspective, they have to get that right. She's the only woman, and she's judging Batman v Superman. She's like their most famous character from the cinematic universe. Everyone liked her, even the people who hated the movie liked Wonder Woman. And then Justice League, because the next shot at getting Batman and Superman right and incorporating all the rest of the heroes. So they had to get those 3 right, or else they're dead and they can just focus on the CW for the rest of the decade or the rest of the millennium.
That's cold. The
Sorry.
infinite L, huh?
Shit. But yeah, that's my take. What do you have to say about Suicide Squad? Like, what do you think it has to be? space.
Before I say that, I want to say this.
You
In
went kind of
general,
low on us.
okay, hold on.
Space.
I turned my I turned my mic off because I went into a coughing fit, and I didn't want to ruin our audio. Do I sound better now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you sound better.
Okay, good. I would like to say that I don't think whatever Suicide Squad is, it already is. The movie is coming out in June. If they try to change the movie too much, whether it's in the editing or if they try to do any reshoots, it's only going to jumble the movie. And that has a different director, and it unlike Batman versus Superman, where um, I had my own thoughts that they put all the humor in the trailer, as well as the fact that they, just simply put the whole movie in a trailer. But I heard that that was an outsourced marketing company um, that did that, and they fired those people immediately.
Wow.
And they deserved it. I mean, you don't put the first, second, and third act in a trailer. It's foolish. And their fourth trailer, I think they were trying to make up for that. That fourth trailer should have been the third trailer. Anyway,
Right. Yep.
at this point, you don't change Suicide Squad. You keep it going. And secondly, if anything, DC, if anything else, they're going to make a lot of money on this film just by the fact that there's going to be people who had no interest in it that are now like, okay, let me go see what all the fuss is about. Because seriously, when you think about some of the other event movies that come out, most of them being it seems because of how popular the connected universes are, and just like the superhero genre in general, most of those films are coming from Disney. The ones that aren't coming from Disney seem to be coming from Fox. I think the fact that everybody kind of loves them and everything, those people who kind of like roll their eyes at these movies, they're not going to go see them because they kind of expect everybody to fall in love with it. I think that DC may actually get those moviegoers who could care less about Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, all that stuff, just to be like, hey, people seem to hate this movie. Some people will be like, that may mean that I'll love it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that DC actually has something on their hands here with just being such a big contrast from Marvel. I think as time goes on, I really do think it's going to pay off. So I just think they need to stay the course. I think if anything, the main thing that they need to do, I think clearly, is give Superman a contrasting attitude or just demeanor to Batman. I think they need to allow Superman to kind of be traditional Superman, and maybe him dying in a heroic way will be spoilers. Will be their way of doing that. Maybe when he comes back a different person. Um, you
Hopefully
know.
they do that in Justice League. I feel like with Suicide Squad, to me, it has to match the tone in the previews. It has to be that demented shit with the happy music playing with the horrible looking visuals and like that juxtaposition has to be at work, just like it is in the trailer. You got to have that almost psychotic tone with this movie. I don't
I
want to
think it
get
will
it.
be.
I hope it will because, like you said, as a different director. And a side note, the Batman v Superman, it's already the biggest opening for a superhero movie ever.
Right.
So you'd be happy to know that.
Oh,
But
I know.
Yeah.
uh, also, the if Suicide Squad matches Batman Assault on Arkham, which is what some people are speculating that movie is based on, I'll be pleased at that because that's a great story with the Suicide Squad and Batman. Um,
Hmm.
for Wonder Woman, I feel like just take the damn action scenes from BVS and ramp them up and get at least 5 good action sequences with her just kicking ass, not so much storytelling and explaining. Get the story right. Again, if it can be a live action version of the latest Wonder Woman animated DC movie, it'll be just as good. And I'll be pleased with that shit. And with Justice League, Don't make that shit so dark. Add some more color to the costumes, like Space said. Make Superman a contrast to Batman. They're supposed to be different, not the fucking same kind of how they seem to appear in BVS. You know.
They're not even the same. Like Superman is sadder than Batman.
Yeah,
Almost.
like
It's like what the fuck?
Super depressed the whole movie. He had like this
Right.
frown on his face the entire movie.
Yeah,
Don't make
it's
sense.
like even when people are worshiping him, like when all those people
Right,
around him,
right. Why are
and it's
you
like he's just
upset,
Why you
bro?
mad, bro?
Damn.
and every time he's saving somebody, he like looks upset about it. Like, God damn
Damn
it.
it. I gotta put on this damn costume.
Right. It's like the way a parent kind of like, cleans up after a child. The look on his face, like this motherfucker just won't stop spilling shit. You know
Sit
what
your
I mean?
ass
Like,
down somewhere.
right. I mean, it's
Damn.
kind of strange. I mean, in that sense, I mean, listen, man. If I could for a second just talk about why I'm frustrated, it's because of the fact that despite what you say, Don, where this has been done before, and Marvel gave the blueprint. The fact in my mind is this: that DC is trying to do things their own way,
Right.
and yeah, Marvel. I'm not gonna. I'm stepping away from saying Marvel, and I'm going into saying Disney. Disney is a machine when it comes to creating films that people love. They have a formula they've been using for quite a long time. The formula got some kinks in it around the time that like DreamWorks came about and kind of stole some of their thunder, but they've really picked it back up. And one of the things that that's helped them be successful is they pick good directors, they cast the films well, and they kind of let the directors do their own thing. Unless the director tries to completely go left with it, like when they replaced the guy from Ant-Man, who I think was trying to do a Zack Snyder version of Ant-Man, and they kind of pulled him. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
other than that, they kind of let the directors create their own vision. The only thing is they just want that vision to jibe with the universe that they're building.
Right. Right.
Just
I
to
think that
kind of segue off of that and put my little 2 cents in. I'm completely unbiased with this whole debate as well. Just to kind of put that out there, I am minimally a fan of Marvel and DC and superhero movies. So this is coming from someone who this is brand new to. So since you mentioned Zack Snyder, going into this movie, I was kind of prepared for the type of film style that this guy offers. If you think back to 300 and Sucker Punch, you
I like Sucker Punch.
can kind of expect, maybe not so great a story, but everything visually is very capturing. So going into this movie, that's what I expected, and that's what I got. The few battle scenes or fight scenes that were there, they were very captivating. And so was the rest of the movie. It was good to look at. And it did have a very darker tone than anything that Marvel puts out. And I like that. I don't really want to see a Marvel movie. If I'm seeing a DC movie and that's what they're about and that's what they present, they're more dark. That's what I want to see. I'm glad it wasn't poppy like Marvel movies.
right.
Yeah. I wasn't
so for-
suggesting making it poppy. I was suggesting, like Space said, follow the blueprint. I don't know, just make one thing.
But they
Marvel,
shouldn't have done that though. It's time to break away from that blueprint, man.
it hasn't been time. It's only been hasn't even been 10 years yet. You know, give it at least 10 years.
It's not time for Marvel, but it's time for other studios to. The connected universe is a Disney thing. I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah, and they're
this,
trying to
it's been
replicate it.
successful.
Like you keep saying, DC's doing their own thing. They're really not, bro.
No, they are. Just because you have a connected universe doesn't mean that you can't do your own thing with your connected universe. Trying to do a connected universe the same way Marvel did a connected universe is not going to work.
But it
they
will.
could easily.
Oh my God.
No, it would work.
Let's save this
since
for the
that
Black
people
Geek is
would-
only bad.
No. Let me get this point out. I have to.
All right. Okay. All right.
You could do. This is the thing. You could do exactly what Marvel does. A studio like Warner Brothers is very competent to do it. I mean, when you talk about the biggest movie studios or studios in general, I mean, Warner Brothers is there. They have the money, they have the influence to do a carbon copy of what Disney is doing. But like I was telling you before, Disney isn't the only studio that's doing connected universes. I mean, Fox is doing it. MGM is doing it. Everybody is trying to get into this connected universe thing. I mean, the Harry Potter spinoff is about all of this is connected universe. Everybody is trying to do it. The
Right.
thing is, if everybody does it the same way, that's going to make for very boring summers and very boring years because the whole docket of films, all these event films will all look the same. And I think with Disney owning as many properties as they do, I think it's good for them to have their way that they do their connected universe, and DC have their way that they do it, and MGM have their way, and Fox have their way. You know, Fox already broke a rule with having an R-rated film that's actually in their universe. You know, who knows how much they'll connect it with certain characters and stuff like that, but they've already broke some rules. And DC has already broken some rules. You know what I mean? Superman has killed. Batman killed half the people he came in contact with in that movie and stuff like that. So it's like I think people are upset because I think there's a lot of people like you who kind of just wish that they would kind of take more from Marvel so that you get that fun film that you can talk about with your friends. Like,
Nah,
oh,
bro,
remember
it
that part
wasn't the
and stuff
fact
like
that
that.
it was just last point. It wasn't the fact it wasn't fun. It wasn't done in the same way. What Marvel does is they try to compete with their competitors as far as the film, as far as the writing, like you say, the directors, as far as the act 1, act 2, act 3, everything is, like you say, formulated. It may be boring because it's tried and true and it works. You know what I'm
They
saying?
not competing with nobody.
Listen, listen,
All they
listen,
make
listen,
I
listen. Look,
definitely didn't see it and was able to compare it to to a Marvel movie. It didn't have that tone at all, in my opinion.
it wasn't even the tone on Amber. It was how it ran. First of all, it was too long. Second of all, like certain parts
Well,
went too long. You know, it just didn't. It didn't flow like a Marvel. I'm not even talking about comedy or the tone now. I'm just talking about as a film, how it moved and you know what I mean. It just didn't move the same way. It was like it should have went. Like if it wasn't as majestic and nice as it looked, I would think it was, you know, straight to DVD or Sci-Fi Channel quality.
to me, more of
I'm sorry, bro.
what I think you're describing is, and how I see it is, this movie wasn't self-contained. A lot of the references
Right.
dealt with either Man of Steel, the Justice League, or Wonder Woman. It really didn't focus that much on Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the movie was called
And I think that's
Batman v Superman.
what you're talking about. And for me, that definitely makes it seem like it's more than, or it's different than a Marvel movie, because anyone can jump up and watch a Marvel movie and know exactly what's going on by the end of the movie.
Right.
For this movie,
You
if
didn't
didn't
wanna
see
know
Man
what
of
was
Steel,
going
you
on?
kind of didn't understand what was happening. If you didn't know that, the Justice League was going to happen, or that Wonder Woman, it's her own person or whatever, you wouldn't know who these people are.
Right.
So
Even
they're
been people.
referencing past movies and future movies, and that's something that Marvel doesn't do. And that, along with the tone, is makes it a completely different movie. So I don't think
Right.
they're
Right.
trying to appropriate a style or
I agree.
a mapping of how the film goes. I think they got the director that they needed to visually capture what's going
Yeah,
on,
visually
because
it's
there really
amazing.
wasn't a story focusing on Batman versus Superman. It was all about
There,
what happened with Man
Yeah.
of Steel and Justice League and Wonder Woman.
Well,
were
you know
some bits
why
and
though?
pieces of the
Because
story
that
in it,
movie
but
was
I
so.
think that's what
This is
threw it
turning
off.
into a BVS discussion, but after this, I just want to move on to the other films. But that movie was supposed to be Man of Steel 2. That's why it's about Man of Steel 1. Then they put Batman in there, and they added the Batman storyline, which didn't really fit. It didn't really need to be
I
there.
don't understand why you bring this up so much. Because
Okay, all right, let's move
at
on.
the end
Let's
of the
let's
day, it don't matter.
let's move
You know
on.
what I
All
mean?
right, let's move on. Oh,
Even when
Retract the
Superman is
clause.
getting knocked into space in
Right.
the last movie,
Okay.
you see Wayne Enterprise logos all over the place. Batman was gonna play a part in this at some point, regardless. You know what I mean? Whether they got
Okay.
fast tracked or not, I don't get why that's important, honestly.
Well, because it messed
They're-
everything up. But okay,
They're
let's talk
banking
about
on everyone seeing previous movies and future movies.
right.
And that can kind of be a bad thing, because You're not
Oh,
bringing
we're
in.
gonna see it. Like I'm gonna see it.
Yeah,
I know
nerds
you're
are going to
gonna
see it. That's what the thing is. What I just want to talk about the other film. So
All right.
Look, this is
All
a
right, so
Batman v
let's go
Superman
forward.
discussion.
You
Yeah,
I know Don, you mentioned that you
yeah,
think Suicide Squad
yeah.
is detrimental
That's
to the
all.
comeback.
That's all. Yeah, yeah. That's all I had to say about Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League. After Justice League, The Flash is coming. The only thing I think DC has to do with this is just make it more lighthearted. You can't make The Flash dark and gritty and grounded. You have to make it like the show, maybe a little bit more film looking. More. I guess how they did Power Rangers, how it looked on TV, and then how the movie looked. The movie looked real. It looked grounded, but not too grounded. It still had the same feeling. So something like that, where it looks like a film, but it still has that same feeling.
Are
So
you
like,
talking about the Ivan Ooze movie, Power Rangers?
I am.
I'm sorry. I just had to. You're not just gonna speed past that. Like you
That movie
reference
was
a
so
Power
bad.
Ranger
I
film.
watched it not
Okay,
too long
okay.
ago. It was
Let me
so
You
stop.
said it
We're not
was
talking about
bad.
Power Rangers. I was about to go full
Did you
doesn't
just?
force.
hold
Did you
up.
just?
Tommy
Hold
was
on.
my
Did you?
boy.
Did somebody just say it was bad? Who said that?
I said it was bad. I mean, it doesn't hold up. I should say it was great as a kid, but I watched it like probably like
Yeah, of course it
4 or
sucks.
5
Yeah,
months
that's
ago.
probably
It's
like
Power Rangers.
what
Have you
you
watched
said.
the show? The show is really bad. It's fucking
Yeah,
sucks. That show
it's
sucks
laughable.
dick. But anyway, sorry, excuse me, Hammer. But
Yeah.
sorry, the Flash has to be. To me, I think it has to be lighthearted. Does anyone else have anything to say about the Flash, or agree or disagree?
I agree. I agree that they simply just need to, instead of having a, just because the film is dark doesn't mean you have to have this blanket darkness and depth to every character. I think some characters have the right to just be lighthearted and happy-go-lucky, um, even if everything around them is shitty.
That's kind of how he is, though. Even in the comics, when shit is going crazy, he's the one that makes everyone laugh and does stupid
Right.
shit. So that's kind of
Right.
his thing. So again, if they mess this up and make him all moody and depressing like Superman, there's gonna be problems. So
But you know what's funny is that like there's people who had no idea that that was Flash, who comes back.
I didn't
and
know that
talks
was
to
Flash.
Batman.
He doesn't even look. Oh my! The problems with this movie.
Well, he has on that suit that he uses to go through time, so it's kind of
Yeah,
hard to tell. But because I
yeah.
had saw some pictures of the guy Ezra Miller who's playing the Flash,
Hmm.
and you can kind of tell that he has like the Flash thing on under all that. I thought that was great, man. Like
I was like,
that
was
really
that the
got me
Flash?
excited.
See, I kept asking that. I was asking so long. Was that the
It
Flash?
was messed up
Is that
because
the
when I
Flash?
was in the movie theater, I was like, "Oh, is that Quicksilver?" He kind of looks like Quicksilver, and I was like, "Wait, no, that's Marvel." Duh.
That's crazy.
Uh,
That's crazy. I think what's interesting about that is that that sequence of Batman when Superman takes off, his little thing and is getting ready to hurt him, and
right.
then you
The
see the
dream
Flash.
sequence.
That's like foreshadowing that they may go with that storyline of when Lois Lane is killed
Yeah, the
and
injustice.
Superman goes
That's
crazy.
another thing they should do if they're gonna do Justice League and make it dark. They should do Injustice. I think
Yeah. And
because
I think
that would work.
if that's what they're hinting at, that's really really interesting. And then
Yeah.
it makes more sense if Superman is always going to be like angry. If he's always going to
Right.
be this guy
Right.
teetering on the edge of going off, then this storyline makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, I would like that. Injustice is a great Justice League story. So if they want to make Injustice the movie, I'm all for it. And it would fit in this whole Batman v Superman world, this super dark world, because that story is dark. So I'm all down with that. But if you're trying to make it just like everything else, you gotta change something. But for the Batman movie, I think just make this shit fun, action packed, and as
Well,
dark as you want it, because it's Batman. You can make that shit as dark as you want.
Okay, I heard that you say you can make it as dark as you want. I think you are having some connection issues. Um,
Uh,
I
hello.
think yeah, I can hear you. I think what they already
You're
did
kind
with
of
this
breaking
film.
out to me a little bit.
Okay,
It's just the
going
connection.
through
Just keep going.
we're going through a Skype connection here.
Shit. Keep.
Maybe we can cut this out. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you got the robot voice. Do I have a
You
robot
do
voice?
too. Yes, you
Shit.
do. Well, now we all.
You guys sound
mm,
fine to me, both of y'all.
Oh, okay. Well,
You sound fine too, but he has a robot voice on mine, and I have a robot voice on his end. But let's.
and do I have a robot voice still?
It's getting better. No, not anymore.
Okay, yeah, yours is fine too. But yeah, I think I don't even think that we need to talk about the Batman movie too much. It seems like they have that shit sold up.
Right.
Everybody I think is unanimous on the fact that that was well done. I was always on board because I just felt like Ben Affleck looks like Batman. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he was the best Bruce Wayne and the best Batman I had ever seen, and it was just such a joy to watch him in this film. It was such a joy. Like I say, I understand people's problems. I think the biggest problem with the film is Superman, though. Honestly, I think that Zack Snyder kind of dropped the ball big time on just Superman as a character, and I
Yeah.
think I think that's the major thing that needs to be fixed. I think if you fix that, especially with the fact that everything that we've got from this DC universe so far has been framed in a Superman movie. You know what I mean? And the
Right.
fact that Superman is not the right kind of Superman, I think that contributes very much to people having such a problem with the DC universe so far. I think that by the time we watch Suicide Squad, which will have Batman in it and a Joker in it, and I think both of those portrayals, we already know the Batman portrayal is on point. If the Joker works, and I don't think anybody expects Harley Quinn not to work, they'll be right back on track. And then once you follow that up with Wonder Woman, if that's good and people are already on track with that, th- this machine, this train is going to be going through the station full steam, and and people will get less upset because we'll be able to move away from those Superman films, and I think we'll be good. Um,
Hello.
personally for me, the important film is Aquaman
Yeah, that's next after
because
Batman. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, and I think that that has to be done well. I think, and that's the hardest one to do right because you have to deal with that element of being underwater for the majority of
Yeah.
the film.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
So
just
like,
do it
how are
right.
they going to do that?
I don't know how, but just my thing is, man, it can be done. They can do it. Keep the costumes the way you have it. Make Atlantis look beautiful. Take us to another world. Make it
Why was
like
he in that ship though?
I have no idea.
And that part that you see him in that film is kind of like, why is he right there? Like what motherfucking reason would like the the king of the sea being like some abandoned big ass ship? Like,
Right.
what was he doing?
I
Like
don't
seriously,
know.
like what the hell could he have possibly been doing?
Well, they wanted to set up the multi or the shared universe, so they didn't give a fuck what he was doing. They
What
just
he
put
was
his
doing
ass there.
exactly. They just
Right.
So
feel
anyway,
like, let's just
but
advertise this
but
movie
anyway,
real quick.
so they just
Like,
need
I
to
think that's
make.
the part of the reason why that didn't work for some people because it's like the
Oh, it didn't
framing
work,
around
Space.
him.
It really didn't work. None of it worked. But
It's like they just at the end after they filmed everything was like, oh yeah, we have to put in something about Aquaman too.
yeah,
Let's
but
film that
one
real
thing they
quick.
got right
Let's
was
go to
his
this abandoned
costume.
harbor.
Yeah, I think his costume looked good. I think he looked awesome. Just make
Yeah,
it
really good.
make the movie be underwater. Don't have his ass on land all the damn time. Don't do some shit like that where he's walking around and shit. Make the most of the movie underwater. Maybe have some of it on land. Make it maybe have some other heroes cameo in it, and have that be it. Have Mira. Is his queen. Have all that shit going. Have good CG, good special effects. Have a good villain, and you're fine. Just
I
make
think
it
there was one
fun.
general problem, though. I think there's one general problem that I already picked up on with that film, and one of the reasons why I'm worried about it is you could tell that Jason Momoa was actually underwater and holding his breath. It doesn't look right if they shoot scenes that are actually underwater and you can tell he's holding his breath. It's not going to look right. You know what I mean? Because like he shouldn't have to hold his breath. I think that may be an issue. So I think that they're probably, as we speak, trying to come up with some like CG and stuff like that to make the whole film look like it's underwater when in actuality they're shooting under a studio. I don't know how they're going to do that because
They
he
just
has
gotta do
long hair,
CG. Yeah,
so to
CG
keep his
hair, I guess.
hair swaying the way that it should sway. I think that's going to be difficult for those guys. I think that movie is going to mess around and be very expensive to make. And if that is the case and it doesn't do well, we may never see his ass underwater again.
Worst come to worst, they could have something where they live underwater, right? But it's kind of like a excuse
Like a
the reference
dome
again.
where they
Exactly.
go
Yeah,
in
like I was
and they
gonna say like
walking around.
SpongeBob kind of like you go in
That would
Sandy's
totally
dome.
defeat the purpose of being Aquaman.
Well, no, but I'm saying he's still underwater, and we will still see everything that he's underwater, but it'll be inside underwater, and they could
I
do
would
it
not
like
be
that.
Free
surprised
in
if that's what they
water.
did.
There would be no point of having that structure.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I would not be surprised if
That's
like,
the only way I
Twitches
know
had
they could
to
really
stuff.
do it like that, unless they make the hair CG do something crazy with the special
Yeah,
effects.
that shit is gonna be very difficult. But Zack Snyder did a lot of things that, like, I hate to say it because I don't want to make people who didn't like the film, because honestly, I feel like there's a few people who say they hated it or didn't like it. Most people are actually mixed. Like, there was things they liked,
I'm
things
mixed
they
about
didn't
it.
liked.
I liked it and I didn't
Yeah,
like
and I
it.
think most people are where you are, and I think I heard a good point when I was on YouTube the other day where someone said when you really read the 30% or wherever it is now, it's probably like 28% of the critic reviews of the film, they're they registered as rotten, but most of them, if you actually read them, are mixed. You know what I mean? There's
Right.
things that they love about it.
Right.
There's things that they hate about it. But I think you have to like just either love or hate it, I guess. But anyway, I actually meant to say that, like, I hate to really, like, you know, try to belittle people who didn't like the film or whatever. But I think there's very, very smart things about the film. And I think some of the people who are confused about the story just really miss some of those really intelligent things that Zack Snyder did. I think that he built the anticipation and he built the just drama very well. I'm personally one of those people who didn't like the action. Like, that was my least favorite part of the film. I felt like the smartest things about the film and the most well done things about the film are some of the conjecture and some of the just the imagery, not just from a standpoint of the fact that the shot looked nice, but what's there as far as information. Like, people who say that they don't get Lex Luthor's
Right.
motivation. I think that when you really listen to what he says, when he says, my father was a great man, you know what I mean? And
And he got beat.
those are big shoes for me to fill. I don't even know if I can fill them. And then he says right after that, and then I have, Superman to deal with, you know what I mean? So he's a guy who wants to be the center of attention, has a lot to prove, and he has to try to fill the shoes of his father with this company he's taking over, and then at the same time deal with the fact that he sees himself as a god in his own ability intellectually and stuff like that, but he's dealing with people worshiping someone else. You know what I mean? Like, to Don your point, I do agree. Marvel would have just said that. You know what I mean? If this was a Marvel movie, he would have said, "I don't think I can live up to my father's to what my father did with this company." And look at this guy Superman out here taking on my headlines. He would have said that, you know what I mean, like, more clearly. Zack Snyder didn't say that clearly, and even with like the Aquaman reveal, where a lot of people
Well,
have
he didn't
problems with
write
that,
it. Two other dudes wrote it. It's really
which is
Zack Snyder just
which is
directed
true. But
it.
if I'm not mistaken, one of them is somebody that has written other things with that he's done. So I think they have a good relationship and kind of work together. And then the other thing is the Aquaman reveal. A lot of people didn't like. I like that whole sequence where he sees all those people. But I think one of the interesting things about the Aquaman reveal is when he makes whatever that is explode, you hear a big boom. So that means that he broke the sound barrier underwater, which is impossible. You know what I mean? So it's a little taste into his power. If you don't know that, then it's like you don't get it. You know what I mean? So I think there's so many subtle things done where,
They didn't explain it.
they didn't. They didn't. They
So
should.
hopefully,
and in retrospect, I'm like, man, I wish they would have.
yeah.
Seriously, I
Hopefully,
can't even
hopefully in
argue.
Shazam, which is coming after Aquaman, they explain some shit. Like, hopefully they also make this lighthearted as well. It's about a boy. If y'all know about Shazam, it's about a boy who gets superpowers. Make it Spider-Man. You make it
From
kind of
saying Shazam.
yeah. Make it for kids. It's comic booky. You know what I'm saying? Make it for kids. Make it like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but he got powers of the gods, and now he get to beat up the school bully and have all that shit. Maybe have Superman come and do a cameo. You know what I mean? And be like, he's my favorite kid. and like fly
And The
off.
Rock is playing Black Adam too. So,
Yeah, they got an all-star cast so far. Make it.
but you know what's gonna happen, man? He's gonna be like a wimpy kid who like is like pushed to the ground in slow motion, and then you'll see like
Oh,
the
I hope,
sewer water splash
I
on his
hope
face
not.
in slow motion. You know what I mean?
Please, no, no. Oh my God, no. They better.
That dude's
Yo, if
gonna
they
come
do
out
that
fast as
shit, if they do that shit, no. Shazam is the one thing that they can do where it's like a throwback to like the 1950s and it's all happy-go-lucky and shit. They could do so much with Shazam, and
All of
make
can
it
be done, man.
and
All of
make
can
it
be done.
fun and light and make him. He's like Superman. Make him throw like a car across the earth. Just like, you know what I
Trust me,
mean?
though.
Have him throw a mountain or some shit. Do some shit like that.
Yeah. By the time we see all these other movies, I think most people's opinions will change because they hear what people are saying. They're not going to change their tone, I don't think, and I don't think they should. But I think that they will. I think one thing that they'll learn is to not blanket every single character with the same depth and just darkness and broodiness to them. You can go. You can have that ultra real grounded type of tone without taking the fun out of it. And I think that they'll
Exactly.
explore how to do that.
Exactly.
And that's what we'll get. And hopefully, Superman arises with a new look on life. And it's just like, oh man, I gave my life. And, people thought I was dead. And maybe they'll cheer his reveal. And maybe his mother will die or something because his parents are the worst. Like when you have two parents that keep on saying to you,
Oh my
"Don't be a
God.
hero." He sees his father, and what does his father say? Oh, one time, I did something, and everybody thought I was a hero. I'd like, redirected this stream and shit. But then, like,
So you're saying for Justice League to get rid of the Kents?
they have to go. You know what I mean? Like in retrospect, the Kents are why he hates or like doesn't know if he wants to be a hero.
That's
or
a
not.
great theory you got there.
It is. It
That's
is
why
because you
he's.
think
That's
about
why
it.
he's so angry. That's a great theory.
That's why he mad.
Exactly.
Right.
Mom and dad
He
don't
just-
support what I do.
They don't,
that's
and
so
like
real.
he doesn't actually decide to be a hero until he meets his real father. His real father is the one who tells him like, "Yo, like,
Yeah.
why is this such a hard decision for you, motherfucker? You are God to these people. Do what you need to do to save them and help them. Like, put yourself in that position." But when you really look at the movie, if you look at Man of Steel, and if you look at this movie, it is the Kents that are always like, you don't have to be a hero to these people. You know what I'm saying? His father taught him his whole life to hide that he was a hero. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And his mother, the first thing she says to him is, be their hero or don't be their hero. You don't owe these people anything. He sees
The
his
worst
father in the
advice
vision.
ever. That's the
And his
most
father-
confusing shit ever.
Exactly. And
Be
then
a
his
hero
father tells
or
him
don't
this
be a
bullshit
hero.
story about the time he tried to be a hero, but then he turned out to actually, hurt people when he tried to be one. So it's like, why would he?
Yeah,
not
I didn't
be on
even
the
listen to
fence?
that
Right, when
father
they're
part.
trying to convince him, and then they give him PTSD by getting blown away by a tornado, and you tell him not to help you when he has the ability to help.
Yeah.
That was
That fucked them up, and
Exactly.
we should do a post
Exactly.
about the psyche of this cinematic Superman
Right,
because
because
he's
that is
fucked
the
up.
problem. It is the Kents, man, and that's a bad decision by Zack Snyder because I think that overwhelmingly the Kents are portrayed as really really nice people
Right.
who encourage Clark to be a hero. You know what I'm saying? To embrace
Mm-hmm.
his power and to use it to help people. But the Clarks in this world are like, they too like, people who live on a farm who just ain't shit. You know what I mean? They have a very cynical view on the world and they pass that on to their son. And, so he walks around just sad his whole life.
Right. So we got like 1, 2, 3, 4 movies to go, and then we can wrap up. But I think for Justice League Part 2, just make this shit a big ass summer movie. Make this shit an event. Make this shit all my favorite superheroes. Make it colors, flying, spandex, and explosions. That's all the fuck I want to see. I don't want to see no deep shit. I don't want to see no stares. Don't stare at nothing. Just have him punch shit. That's what I want to see for the first and the second Justice League. No
Stay the
story.
course, just make it lighter. It's very simple for me. Stay the course, make it a little bit lighter.
Yeah. For Cyborg, I think just make this shit good. It's the only black superhero they got. Don't be the token ass superhero who's only added because of his race. Make it, I don't know, make it a good story. Add some other black heroes. Add Vixen, add Steel into it. I don't know. Just make this shit good. That's all I want. And it sucks it's like the last one out the gate before Green Lantern, but you know, just
They
make
could
it.
have made Green Lantern black so that he doesn't
They
have to
could
be a
have.
token.
They could have did that. That would have been even better since they fucked up with Hal Jordan. They could have did John Stewart, but
Right.
again,
Right.
that's DC. But Marvel was like that too. They still doing the old heroes, but I mean,
But I mean, Cyborg is corny. They should embrace that and just let him do like
corny shit.
let it be over the top.
Yeah, I really don't give a fuck about Cyborg's movie. I'm only gonna see it because he's black. For Green Lantern, to me, I feel like you just gotta do this shit right or shoot yourself in the head. Just go home and close the blinds, blow out all the candles, and shoot yourself if you don't get this movie right. Because this movie is the whole reason why you rebooted everything. Okay, or one of the reasons. Do this. You gotta do this right. Make it just like the comics. Stick to the source material. Make it like the cartoon. Make it fun. Don't make it too dark. Make Hal Jordan, cast him right. You know, do all these things. They have enough practice from between Suicide Squad and Cyborg. They have enough practice to get this movie right.
Yeah.
So
I don't like the Green Lantern too much. I've never been super interested in him. But
because he hasn't been done right.
Not just that. I just don't have any interest in him as a character. I think it's really, really ridiculous what they do. Those lanterns, I think it's like beyond ridiculous. Comic books have a lot of ridiculous shit in it, and I think that these like dumbass rings are one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life.
But do you know how they work?
Yeah, I know how they work, and it's still ridiculous. But
it's about controlling yourself and controlling your fear and everything. And that's what they can build
that
on.
Is very interesting, especially the different colors of the lanterns and everything.
Yeah, one is love, and one is hate, and one is jealousy. That's what they should build on. That instead of making it a whole bunch of special effects and shit, make it build on that shit.
But it's very important that they get that right because that's the door that opens into the whole space thing, which is where Darkseid will probably enter and everything. Or by that time, he may already be there, and more shit kind of gets introduced. But that's a very important aspect of everything that's going on, so it must be done right.
Yeah. After that, they're supposed to be making the Booster Gold and Blue Beetle movie. Y'all probably don't know who the fuck they are. I know. I'll tell you a little bit about Booster Gold. He's funny as shit because he's like a superhero that no one gives a fuck about. They should do a movie about him and make it like a comedy. He's like a superhero, like it's an episode on Justice League where he like saves a whole bunch of kids, and they end up calling him, hey, thanks Superman, and they walk the fuck off. Like they don't know who his name, what his name is, or anything, and he gets mad about it. He's like, he keep thinking I'm Superman. What the fuck? Like he gets pissed off, and like Superman will be like, Wonder Woman, you go over here. Green Lantern, you do that. Booster Gold, stand right there. And then they'll like leave him and shit. And like that could be funny. That's Booster Gold right there. He's like a superhero that never gets his respect. He like a broke man Superman, and they should do that shit like a comedy. And that's one way DC can be funny and have like a Deadpool type character, make him kind of self-aware. You know what I mean? Make fun of all the other shit. So,
well, the word is they're gonna do the Lobo, and that's gonna be their
that would be
answer
dope too.
to Deadpool.
That would be dope too. Lobo is funny too. So, if they have so many good characters, so many good movies they could do, and they just gotta just fix the little kinks, and everything will be fine. That's how I feel about this.
They're gonna be okay. Like I said, I firmly believe the main issue with all of this is Superman, and they change Superman around. We'll look at this completely differently.
They need to change his parents. So
yeah, man, they need to die. It's time for both the Kents to be gone. No,
we're naming this
to the Kents.
We're naming this "Death to the Kents." The Kents must die. All Kents must die.
And then
most
everybody
confusing parents ever. No direction. Thanks, guys.
right, right. They are the worst. They suck so bad.
They do.
All right. Well, all right. So from what I'm gathering, you guys think the up and coming movies all are pretty important. Specifically Wonder Woman, Justice League, and Suicide Squad. And I agree with all of those. I definitely think that Wonder Woman is a pinnacle of equality. They have to do this right. I definitely don't think that it should only be a lot of action. We need a Wonder Woman origin. It's something that has never been portrayed on film. And I think a lot of people want to see that. We know that she's,
I don't even know it. I don't mean to cut you off, but I don't even know her origin, to be honest with you.
I just know she's a trained warrior, Amazon warrior.
Yeah, that's all I know.
And that's the gist of it, really. I mean, she comes from this other place.
Right.
And that story really hasn't been thoroughly told. So I definitely don't
hasn't.
want pure action with this movie.
No, me neither. I want it told, but I don't want. My thing is, I don't want an hour and 30 minutes of talking. That's all.
I agree.
Just-
I definitely want her to show what she can do and represent. But I also want to know about her. So a good mixture. They
Yeah,
definitely. I don't. I'm not sure how they line up their directors or whatever, but I'm hoping it's not Zack Snyder.
No, it's a woman director.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's even better. We need someone who is better at storytelling more than visual stuff. So that's good that that's going to be someone different. And I also think
Gal
that
Gadot is beautiful though. That girl is gorgeous.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, Jesus Christ,
she
she's
is
beautiful.
gorgeous. And then I
It's
realized
crazy.
she's from Fast and Furious. I didn't even
Right.
I didn't even notice her in Fast and Furious. But I don't know. I think it's awesome the person that they chose for Wonder Woman. I think she's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
I haven't really read any of the buzz about her. I don't know if people like her or not, but I am
Didn't at first, like most of these DC castings, people hated it. They thought she was
Right.
too skinny and stuff.
Right.
But you put that girl inside that Wonder Woman costume, and for some reason, Wonder Woman comes to life. I don't know
Right.
what it is.
yeah.
I mean, she makes the Wonder Woman come to life for some reason. I think this is going to be great for her career. Problem is, I love the fact that she has a little accent, like you said. It gives Wonder Woman that exotic feel that she should have instead of just being some white woman. But
Right.
yeah,
I
she
definitely
doesn't
didn't want her
say
to
English
sound
too
like
well.
Cheryl the accountant. You know what I mean? And that's usually what I get from her, at least in the cartoons. I'm definitely happy that they gave her a foreign persona that was needed, because that makes her being from another place, from Amazonia, that makes it even more authentic. So they, for me, as far as I feel about the casting, I think they're spot on. And her being too skinny, I didn't really see that. She's actually a
Well,
really tall
she's
and big woman, like
yeah.
not
Well,
big, but she has a
she put
tall
on a lot of
frame.
muscle after she got the role. She put on some muscle. She was very skinny before because she was a model.
Right, right, yeah. She's I think she's Miss Israel or something like that from what I was reading.
She is just so gorgeous though.
Yeah.
But when she says why did you bring them here, or why did you bring him here to Batman? You know what I mean? Or like why did you bring him back to the city? It's like she butchered that. Like it's I was like, what? Like I'm thinking like what that must be take like 1,000, because it seemed like she struggled to say it. She was like, why did you bring him to the city? It was like, what is it?
What part is that?
When Batman makes Doomsday chase him back to the city, and Wonder Woman
Oh.
shows up and saves him.
Oh yeah.
And
Okay. Okay.
she turns to him and she's like, why did you bring him back to the city?
Yeah.
And it's like every other thing she said in the movie, it was like you could hear her accent, but it sounded fine. But that part, it was just like, what?
I didn't notice that, but that's funny as shit.
Yeah, somebody else said it when I was watching one of the reviews, and I thought it was funny because I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I think we can wrap up. We've been talking 50 minutes, so we can wrap this song up.
Oh, I did want to. I'm sorry. I know you guys was going back and forth, so I kind of just let y'all do that, and I didn't get a chance to put my stuff in.
Yeah,
I
say
just want to say,
Go ahead.
anyways, I just want to say that outside of those three that you guys mentioned are detrimental to rebuilding the DC universe, I actually disagree with a few. I think that Aquaman, Cyborg, Flash, and Shazam are all going to be filler movies. I don't think that
Not the
they-
Flash, Amber, but
Huh?
not the Flash.
Not the Flash.
The other ones
I'm thinking
maybe.
so.
Cyborg, yeah, he's gonna suck, but not the Flash.
I know that, he's an important character to you, maybe. I'm just playing. He's an important character, but the fact that he has a light persona always in the cartoons, as you said in the comic book, he always has a light and optimistic persona. And with the direction that I think that they're trying to go in with Man of Steel, with Batman versus Superman, and seemingly with Wonder Woman, is going to be a darker tone. I think they're going to bring the fun out with these movies as well as Justice League. So I'm not expecting anything super deep with these movies, and that's why I don't think they're super detrimental to the rebuilding.
Right. I can respect that.
All right, so you're right. We've been talking for an hour now. So we'll go ahead and close it out. I'm your girl Amber, aka The Ber. You can follow me on Twitter at The Ber_Beesh, and I'll let you guys give out your tags and we'll wrap it up.
You can follow me on Twitter at DONSGFX.
And you can follow me at at the Space Menace. And I got to make this about myself somehow, so I want to declare that I'm not going to see Captain America: Civil War.
So
Boycott.
let's close.
And I'm serious.
I know you're lying, so let's just close out on that note.
Make sure you guys to like and subscribe, and if you guys have any comments, please feel free to drop that down in the box. Let us know how you feel about Batman versus Superman and what you think will help rebuild DC Universe if you think it needs rebuilding in the first place.
And be on the lookout for a Black Geekazoid battle over Batman versus Superman. It'll be Dawn versus Space, and who knows, somebody might get stabbed through the heart because it might get emotional.
So you're gonna do like Superman and Doomsday? Is that what you're gonna do?
No, I'm gonna Batman. I'm gonna be the Batman to your Superman. I'll have you in the ropes and then I'll let up.
Okay. Whatever that means. So we out. I'm gonna stop recording now.
The creation of Cyborg was kind of weak. A lot of people have felt like the Aquaman scene was laughable, but it's like I don't.
I thought he
understand
looked
why.
awesome. I thought he looked fucking
he looked
amazing,
great,
though.
and it's I don't know why he why there was an explosion in the water. That wasn't clear to me. But you know what I mean? Like
Who knows?
You know what I'm saying? And I love Wonder Woman's place in it. You know,
I love her. She was another pro for me. Not cutting your pros off, but yeah, I love Wonder Woman.
Daydreamers. Unite.